This is Pat's Soundbytes Unplugged. Unplugged. The podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Hey, Pat Calamari here, host of Pat's Soundbytes Unplugged podcast, episode number 98. Yeah, man, getting there. Another great one, a good friend. This man has rocked the band Jethro Tull on the guitar side for 43 years. And since 2012, well, he's been doing his own thing. I'm talking about legendary rock guitarist Mr. Martin Barre. Got to talk to Martin, calling from the UK. Martin's got a double CD out that comes out November the 6th from the Store for Music record label. The double CD is called 50 Years of Jethro Tull. Man, now you know and I know, probably could have been like 5 or 6 CDs. But as Martin explains, this was a CD that he actually sold at the shows last year. And that's where I got to see Martin. I see him every year when he comes into town. And he did 50 Years of Jethro Tull with great production. Cleve Bunker, Dee Palmer, his regular band of Dan Crisp, who's on vocals, who sounds great. Alan Thompson on bass, and Darby Todd on drums. And he had a couple of young ladies who were doing backup singing, and also a few instruments, and all very good. And pretty much a lot of deep tracks, starting back when Martin actually joined the band in 1969 with the album Stand Up. And it goes all the way, covering a lot of tracks. I want to say there's 11 plus 4 bonus tracks. But it's all good. It actually sold out while he was on tour. So his plan was to put this back out there. He also shares with me that he has a DVD coming out soon. And once things, live music gets back to the normal that we know, his plan is to go on tour for 2021 and celebrate the 50th anniversary of Aqualung and play the entire album, as well as some tracks from his solo albums, which are great stuff. Back to Steel, Roads Less Traveled, and he's already working on a follow-up to that. So he was a busy guy. He was on a moving train for the last 4 or 5 years, and then COVID came and kind of stopped everything in place, but he's been still busy. But it's always great to talk to Martin. What a terrific guy, terrific band, and I encourage you to go out and buy the double CD if you are a Jethro Tull fan. Okay? 98. 2 more to go. If you like what I do, as always, go to my YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. Love to have you in my community. Continue to subscribe on your podcast, your favorite podcasting hosting sites. Look for Pat's Soundbytes Unplugged. Can't thank you guys enough for that. And I am on Instagram when I do my Zoom interviews. You can find me on Pat Soundbytes IGTV. All is good. Enough of me. Time to rock with Mr. Martin Barre. And as always, live, love, and laugh a lot, because life is way too short.
Hi everybody, this is Martin Barre, and you're listening to Pat's Soundbytes Unplugged, and it's amazing.
WBXO Classic Rock Redefined in conjunction with Pat Soundbytes Unplugged podcast. Great to have this rock legend back on the phone calling in from the UK, one of the most respected rock guitarists in the business today, and certainly a huge influence in the rock world with his guitar playing. Formerly of the band Jethro Tull, my good friend, Mr. Martin Barre. How are you, Martin?
Oh, hi, Pat. I'm very good. I'm just worried that you know so much about me. You won't have any questions left.
Well, we have chatted numerous times, but
you probably know more about me than I do.
Well, let me just say, first of all, how's Julie? How's the wife and everybody? Everybody good?
I wonder what her name was. We're all good. You know, we've seen our kids, we've seen the grandkids. It's difficult, but I think the thought now is that we're all hoping that we're going to have a Christmas, some sort of Christmas, and that's the plan. You know, so that we've locked down in the UK. But the idea is that they can reopen a little bit for Christmas, so families can get together. But it's tough, you know, it's bad, and everybody has to do what they can.
You probably haven't been home this much in a while, because you were like back and forth, and it was great to see you, promoting, Back to Steel and Road Less Traveled. You were a busy guy for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and now you're kind of home.
I think I have been for the last 55 years.
Oh yeah,
My neighbour dropped by today, and I hadn't seen him for months, and he said, I've never seen you this relaxed ever, and I was like, wow. and I just guess, because I'm always away and I'm always busy and there's always something going on, and I guess I am. I hadn't thought about it, but I think I've really enjoyed having a summer at home, which I've never had. I've never been home for a complete summer, it's just nice. In some ways, it's come at a nice time for my age, but career-wise, it's a disaster. we were doing so well last year. Up to the beginning of this year, I mean, things were taking off, and now, it couldn't be worse. There you go.
Yeah, you kind of lose that momentum, you build and build and build, and now you got, the 50th celebration of Tull, and I see next year is the 50th anniversary of Aqualung. You got all these milestones coming up, and it's like, the train stopped. It's like but Martin's
we're going to have to. It's all going to be catch up because by the time we get back, we've got to finish off the 50th anniversary Jethro Tull tour that you saw. So we've got gigs that we haven't done from this year that we're going to have to do next year, and then I want to get on to this Aqualung tour where we're going to play the whole of the Aqualung album, and hopefully some more of my solo stuff. So just to change the show again.
Excellent. Well, the show was fantastic last year. As I just said before to you, catching it over here in Connecticut, the production was brilliant. Good to see Cleve and Dee Palmer and the girls. And I love Dan Crisp. I love Alan. I love Darby. I mean, your band is spot on. They're a lot of fun to hang with. Good guys. Martin's got a November 6th, the store for music record label proudly released worldwide Martin's new album, a double CD entitled 50 Years of Jethro Tull. I'm sure it could have been like 4 CDs with the amount of Tull catalog that's available. So you did a double, and I recognized a lot of the tracks were certainly tracks that you played on tour last year during the tour, so I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, now on that tour we had a CD for sale that was purely for sale at the concerts, and that's now sold out. It was a very limited edition special souvenir, not available outside of gigs, and this CD is that same CD with the extra 4 tracks, and the reason is, I mean, I normally wouldn't have released it, but it won't be possible to do another one. And this record label said, it's such a great CD. There's a lot of people who haven't been to my show and bought the CD who would like it. So I'm glad it's available. But it was a similar thing was available at the shows, but I think people will realise that if they bought that one, then this is the same, but with the 4 bonus tracks, which are from a DVD, which is coming out in a month. So it's quite complicated.
Wow, very good.
There's a whole lot of complicated stuff going on, but it's essentially the CD at the gigs is sold out and will never be reprinted, and this one's taken over. And there's a little bit more stuff on there.
Well, I encourage everybody to go and get this CD if you did not get to see Martin's tour last year, by certainly keep an eye out for that once the green light is lifted and we get live music again. The CD number 1 features Martin and his incredible band doing live in-studio electric performance of Tull songs, both classic tracks and deep album cuts from Tull's earlier days, with arrangements with Martin and his band putting their touch on these amazing songs. I know, Martin, the obvious is we're getting old, my friend. 50 years of Tull. When you look back, what goes through your mind, like when you first actually got the call to join, I want to say the band, probably 1968, 1969?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I've got a lot of good memories, and over all the years, I've made a lot of friends. I still have, some of them are still best friends. A lot of memories, a lot of great concerts, a lot of great fans, traveling around the world. I mean, it's just something so special, and I'm always very respectful and thankful that I was able to do it. But yeah, and some things are clear as if they were yesterday. Other things, got sort of scrambled in the sort of huge amount of work we did. We're doing so many concerts. Sometimes it all gets confused, but a lot of it, especially the early days, are really crystal clear because it was had such an impact on me. And I'm a lucky guy to have been through all of that and to still be playing and enjoying it.
Knowing what you know now, Martin, if you had to change anything in doing it all over again, would you have done anything differently?
No, I think the answer's got to be no, because, I can play better, I could sound better, I could have refined something, but it's all a snapshot, and it's the 50s. It's like looking at a black and white movie, and you the quality of the film's grainy, and the acting, some of it's really bad, but it's iconic. It could be Humphrey Bogart, but somebody with him might be a really bad actor, but you know what? It's how it was in the 50s or the 60s, and we've progressed. Acting's better, the quality of film's better, but it's good. You have to have that benchmark that changes and develops and improves. So no, it has to be that way. It's important. It's history, and it was raw. It was basic. We're all learning how to play music, how to be better, and you can see that progress through all the years. And if you sanitized it or sort of recolored it like they do films, I don't see the point, because it needs to have its place in history and stay there.
No, I love that analogy, and I visualize it, and I think you're absolutely right. It was what it was, and it's easy to look back and say, well, as my question was, would you change it? But what's really it was what it was. Those were that's what was on the table, and that's how it was. It was really. I mean, we look back and go. I mean, I look back if. But I guess maybe I would have took a different path in staying in school or doing this or that. But like when you're in a band, and the recording back then was, you guys were all together in a studio, and today, because of technology, you can send a WAV file here or there. So yeah, it has changed, but I agree with you. Your acknowledge of what you described is certainly right on. Of all the shows, Martin, was there any one that sticks out? The craziest thing that's happened to you? Somebody jump on stage, or some your guitar, your amp, you blew a string. All of a sudden you're playing and you're not playing.
All the time. All of those things. I've had everything. Well, I mean, the early days were crazy because fans were, they're pretty full on. But there's lots of stories. But but sometimes a crazy story would happen at a horrible gig, or and some of the best gigs, nothing happened because it all went right. So it's quite hard to sort of pinpoint any one thing, but just playing every gig special, no matter where you are, no matter how many people are there, and I can't explain why it is, but if you start playing gigs and they aren't all special, then you don't need to be doing it, because I just love playing. I don't care how many people I'm playing to. It's all 100% commitment, and the band have so much fun playing that if you play to two people, you'd still have a great time. And I've done a gig in England, but where there was a huge storm, almost like a hurricane, and it was near the coast, and there was only 30 people could get there. You couldn't get to the show, but we got there, and the 30 people, and we're in this hall, in this theatre, and there's a howling gale going on around us.
Oh boy!
Best show ever. Just 30 people, and they knew that it was different, and they were, we're all lucky that we're inside this theatre, sheltered from this horrific weather, and we had an amazing night, and that for me says it all. You haven't got to play in front of 5,000, 10,000 people to make it special. It's every night has something about it that is good.
Well, you show it when you get on stage. The band shows it that you're enthusiastic, you're ready to do it. You show the love and the emotion when you play. And, I always said, we even getting into radio, if I had one listener, I have an audience, and that's all that matters to me. It's not about the money. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I enjoy playing new music and keeping it alive. So that's where I get my enthusiasm from, meeting folks like yourself and supporting you and promoting. And then all of a sudden my phone starts to ring. Who is that? Where do I get that CD? And I know I'm doing the right thing. So I get that. It's funny you said about. It's funny you mentioned the storm. We had the right when the Police started, I want to say late 70s, we had a bad snowstorm and a lot of people couldn't get to the venue, but a buddy of mine got there, and there were 3 of them, and the police said, they were getting ready to leave, and then the Sting and guy said, no, we're here. No, don't go.
Yeah.
And he said it was one of the best shows he's ever seen. He said it was incredible.
It is that way. And we did a show in Italy where the weather was horrific. It was outdoors. It was pouring with rain, pouring. And the promoter said, look, there's only, not many people are going to turn up. I think we should cancel. I said, don't cancel it. Do not cancel it, because the people that do turn up really deserve a show.
Yeah.
Because, they've actually, you've got to give them the show. It doesn't matter. And we did it. It was the same thing. It was brilliant. Brilliant. And the people knew that you hadn't turned your back on them. It'd be easy to say, cancel, weather. But if you don't, it makes it a really special occasion. People really appreciate that nothing will put you off. It's a dedication to what you do, same as you're saying.
Yeah, Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters, 50,000 people. He falls off the stage, breaks his leg 8 minutes into the show, and he completes the whole show. Somebody holds his leg together because he felt bad. He said these people who came from all over, they're 8 minutes into the show, and he falls off the stage. He goes, I can't leave. I don't want to reschedule. We're here. So, yeah. Any
it's the way it is.
It's crazy. What I was going to ask you is, it's great watching your popularity and how it has grown here in the States. When I first met you with Back to Steel and introducing you at Daryl's house back in 2016, and it was like every year, boom, I was saying to John, every year, it's sold out. You're adding 2 shows or 3 shows, and it's great to see the following that you've really worked on here in at least the East Coast, or the Northeast Coast. I'm sure it's everywhere else. It's wonderful to see that for you.
Yeah, it's so rewarding, and I want to convert everybody. There's no end to it. And every person that's never seen us play that walks away happy at the end of a show is I can't tell you how much it means to me. You never get tired of the fact that you can communicate your music to somebody else. It's a very precious commodity to have. And you can never underestimate it, and always respect it, because it can be taken away as easily as it can be given.
Absolutely. Any, obviously, I know you're home, so you're probably doing maybe some writing in between the Honey-Do List, and we had Back to Steel, and then you killed it with Roads Less Traveled. Is there a follow-up with them?
Oh, yes.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I've written a lot of music. I think the danger, if anything, is the opposite. I'm just gonna hold back. I've written a lot, and I'm gonna wait till next year, because I want this CD to hopefully to be successful. I want the DVD to go out, and then I'm just going to pace myself.
Right.
And so next year I'll have a really big project to do, a new solo album. But I want to really take my time. It has to be better than the last one. It's not pressure, but the sort of pressure I'm talking about is something I enjoy. It's the motivation to move on and improve, that there's a better CD, a better song, a better instrumental round the corner that you don't know about, that you're going to write at some point in the future. Music to me is such an exciting platform to experiment in, and so I want to savor each moment. I'm going to spread it out so that next year I've got a lot to look forward to, and I just want to be very, very busy, have lots of music and lots of projects.
Well, that's great. I know you're a busy guy, and we put on Back to Steel was on our rotation, and then we added Lone Wolf, and my driving song has been on our rotation for you, so certainly looking forward to what's coming down the future. But yeah, you gotta spread it out. You can't just, why bother put this CD out and then 4 months from now put another one out. So that makes all the sense. Everybody always unfortunately, maybe I should learn how to play guitar, and I enjoy watching you play, Martin. So people are asking me with my podcast to kind of ask a couple more gearhead questions, and obviously I know on your website I'm sure you have a ton of guitars. I saw PRS, I saw Gibson, I saw Fender, I saw Taylor. I know you have a few mandolins. Is there? I mean, they all have their own little sound and such, right, Martin? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, one person might just say they sound all the same, but they don't to me. And I love being in the studio, and I work with my engineer, James Bragg, who's sort of an inspiration to work with. And sometimes I say to James, we're doing a track, and I say, come on, James, what shall I do, this solo on? And he'll say, the red one. And I know which guitar he means, and I go, yeah, you're right. and it's just, I know you're talking about millimeters of difference, but sometimes that's a loss in music. And I'm not sort of stuck to any one sound. I mean, I hope I'm not. I want things to be very fluid and a lot of dynamics and a lot of change in the sounds and the music and the approach. So yeah, it's. I mean, I'm in the studio now, and I'm looking at my guitars, and I love them all, and I play them all, and they're a whole variety of instruments, and they all have their charm and their personality, and they're all lovely pieces of wood. And they're all living and breathing.
Yeah, it's hard to say, what's your go-to guitar, because each one of them, like you just said, has their own personality and fits for their own song. So it is what it is. But it's great to have that flexibility, to have, you can go for this sound or that sound and know right away what guitar I'm going to.
Yeah, I love them all, and I've got more than I need. But sometimes, I go into the cupboard where all the spare ones are kept, and I have a look what's in there, and find an old friend, pull it out, and it'll be out in the studio for 2-3 months as we sort of get to know each other again. It's nice. I mean, I don't like any boundaries. And my mandolins I love, and bazookas and mandolins, and I'm playing flute again.
Nice.
I bought a beautiful alto flute a couple of months ago, and I'm reading music again. I'm going to take my music exams on flute, just to keep my brain working. And I just think I've always been a flute player since I was 15, and I've sort of let it go in the background, mainly because of the Ian. Obviously, my flute playing was secondary to guitar playing. But you know what? It might just come to the front again.
Never enough learning, right? And keeping the mind going and keeping the brain going and finding something else out there. A double CD, 50 Years of Jethro Tull. It's out Friday, November 6th, the Store for Music record label. It's out worldwide. It'll be on all streaming platforms globally. So not even in the States. If you're listening to my podcast all over the world, it'll be out there. As Martin said, as soon as the plan is for 2021, 50th anniversary of Aqualung, playing the entire album, mixed in with a couple of his tracks from his great solo work, Backstid Steel, Roads Less Traveled. He's got a DVD coming out. You could go to Martin's website at martinbarre.com. You can check him out on Facebook at Official Martin Barre and all the other socials. Martin, I can't wait to get you back. I mean, what's your before I let you go? Your thoughts on getting back on stage again in front of a live audience has got to be emotional. I'm sure it will be a little bit.
Well, it's getting bad because I'm having heavy withdrawal symptoms, and I've done one gig since beginning of March, and that was with Alex Hart, one of the girls, and I went into the local town and played an acoustic gig with her, and that was really nice. But it's the guys in the band. I'm concerned for them that they can stay intact financially.
Right.
That a lot of people are giving up the business of music. But the girl who did our lights last tour has quit the business.
Wow.
Tragedy.
That's so sad.
We're losing people. The business is losing people, and in every way we have to get back to playing shows again for the theatres, for the clubs, for the lighting engineers, for the crew, for the bands, for the ushers in the auditorium, people who sell the ice creams. Everybody is vital, and we've got to get them back to work again.
Absolutely, and we're praying for that green light, and hopefully it comes quicker than we can ever expect. My man, thank you so much again for your time. Please send my best to Dan and Alan and Darby, and of course your wonderful wife Julie. And I encourage everybody to go get the CD the minute it comes out on Friday. Thank you, Martin.
Oh, thank you, Pat. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.